So we've been talking about this 45 goals of the Communist Manifesto. And when you actually go look at them, they're just very straight to the point, and about 90% of them have already been achieved. And you can really see how when you have, if you've studied from Jeremiah Cohen's channel, Adam, he has talked all kinds about Laurel Canyon and Tavistock and these very quiet, secret think tank production of evil within popular culture. What do you want to call it? A group of people, a group of scientists, group of political scientists, group of the movers and the shakers, the network of people within Hollywood, government, everything that work together. They work in unison and they craft the reality for the people. And then the people turn on their televisions or open up their apps on their devices and get onto the Google and the Google and everything else, and their whole life is being shaped, and the way that they view reality and create maps of reality in their brain from these little sermonettes that are preached in these quick, fast 3, 4, 5 minute videos, oftentimes, or through the talk shows or through interviews. That's another big one. I've noticed that on Vogue, for example, they will follow the little starlet around, and oh, you get to know something about this extra special person that's so much better than you. And when you just really sit down and you think about the whole construct of Hollywood and how you have this I'm just going to call it party system for lack of a better term, not necessarily with regard to politics. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the monetary level and this idea that one group of people that has less money are somehow, that's weird, somehow okay, not as important and valuable as the people that have been put up on this pedestal of Hollywood, and they're able to afford all the best, breast augmentation and carving their bodies up. And if they're a boy and they want to be a girl, then they go through the processes for that. They have money for the makeup and money for this service and that service and all these kinds of things to sculpt their body into an image that is marketable, that is able to be used to then construct ideas through their film and through their videos and books and everything else, their music. And then when you consider the music aspect of it, you're having these songs that are being said to you, and actually your brain records the music. And then I don't know what it is, but there's something about when you put something to song, it's almost like your brain just double grabs on. If you can remember when you were little, or if you have kids and you were teaching them the ABCs, or you were even teaching them how to count, the best way to do that was to turn everything into a singy song, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on and so forth. And so there's definitely something about turning something into a song that really presses record in your brain. Now, I just listened to that Beck song for two times, and it is now stuck in my head when I did a video. And I don't want it in my brain, but I did a video, and now it's in there. It's stuck in there now. So anyhow, this all just goes right along with the programming of a society, and I love Adam's channel because he was the one that really opened my eyes to Laurel Canyon, which was here in America, but it goes all the way back to Tavistock. So, all these movements, all these, many of these bands that came, and it was a cultural identity change, all streams back from Edward Bernays crafting the narrative of why you want to buy this particular product with the story that goes along with it. This guy was just a master of propaganda. So they kind of took everything that he had to say, and they've been doing it for so long with the cameras and creating the reality for you, the template of how they want you to go and how they want to turn the rudder on the ship, completely winning the cultural war, hands down. But then you've got a whole world of 7.7 billion people that hate Jesus Christ. I'm not sure what the stats are on actual born-again Christians, but I know that they're not a lot. But anyhow, you take all that stuff into account and you realize that these movements like the 60s counterculture movement, that was all by design. There were people that were led, for example, the Beatles, just for one example, the Beatles were created, the words that they said, it was all crafted and scripted, and they went out to the people to change their affections from Jesus Christ with this music, with this new look, with the introduction of drugs, which I'm not saying that was necessarily just the Beatles. I'm just giving you one example, something concrete. But it was the whole movement. It was the whole Woodstock thing, and even maybe just a little before them. I'm just making broad generalities. And when you realize that it was a design tool and the brainchild of these entities that wanted to come in and change society from how it was in the 50s to the 60s and this whole rebellion, you can't tell me what to do. All these other things were all in play. Well, see, from that point on, they've just gotten better at their game, right? So, and then you notice that like I'm just going to say, for example, every 10 years, they make it worse and worse and worse. And so here you have Bjork. Honestly, Bjork, we're going to pray that thing out of you. I mean, I'm serious. And she just has the most bizarre triumph of a heart. I cannot stand her music. It's really weird. Her cat is in a wife beater. Her cat husband. And he's, goodbye. Goodbye, wife. It's really weird music. Oh, I guess we missed the kitty at the door saying goodbye. Hold on. See, they just put it in there for like a quick second. Can you even see it? Look at that. See? They put him in a wife beater. This is just weird. So they're, PETA isn't all over this going, why did you put this cat in this video? Blah, blah, blah. But it's really weird. She decides that she's going to go pick up her spirits, meaning, feel better. She's kind of just off. She's a weird little duck. And her cat husband is at home, right? And they're separate and apart. I mean, this is just some weird stuff. Then her girlfriends come and she's having a good time and you get the spirits going and they're at this bar. And you know what? Things get weird. So it's just weird. It's just weird. But this is the kind of stuff. I think they're going to start up with that singing again in a minute here. And it wasn't even singing. It was all them doing these weird movements and these weird sounds and stuff like that. It was just so off-putting and bizarre and unusual. Like, they went to the psychopath satanic bar or something. And all of this is just meant, not just one video, but all of the weird videos together sort of chip away at the fabric of society. You might just think, well, she's just having a good time, does everything have to be serious? No, it doesn't have to be serious, but when you look at the backdrop of the communistic goals, where did it go here? Let me find it. Well, 11 is weird, not necessarily having to do with this video, but having to do with other things that are going on. And then knowing that these Masons work both in the government and in Hollywood. They hold hands together. They're trying to push the rudders on the ship a different direction. That's disturbing. So, this is going on in the backdrop of this promote the UN as the only hope for mankind. Now they're switching that out with Israel. And now you've got New World Order, J World Order, Islam New World Order, Vatican New World Order, Communist China New World Order, Mason New World Order, and AI, New World Order. And they all got together and had a big, giant, ugly baby named Guillotine to cut your head off. Now, as they could distract you, which is the other aspect of why you have this nonsense, why it all goes together. It's all in the same list for a reason. It talks about, let me see here. Well, yeah, putting the communist propaganda in the curriculum and all that. They've done that for a long time, but I want to focus in on, okay, so look, here is number 21. Gain control over key positions in radio, TV, and motion pictures. Yes, in 1963, they called them motion pictures. Continue discrediting. 22 is just like it. 23 as well. Look at that. Continue discrediting American culture by degrading all forms of artistic expression. An American communist cell was told to, quote, eliminate all good sculpture from parks and buildings and substitute what? Shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms. And they've torn down so many of the Ten Commands because they're getting ready to put the Noahide, which stands in the place of Ten Commands. And there are certain men that are big giant liars that are trying, Mark Biltz, are trying to tell you that Noahide's just like the Ten Commands. Totally. No, it's not. The Noahide at noahide.org has the beheading orders for the courts of justice that are going to be everywhere. I invite you to check out all my videos. I have tons of videos, like 189 videos, and you can just look, pepper through and look. And we got so much information on Noahide. Now look here. So, there's a reason to what they're doing. They just pretend to play stupid and we just go along with it. Like no big, Eliminate all laws governing. Look at this. Look, obscenity by calling them censorship and a violation of free speech and free pass. Right? So they had that initially. They used that for their purposes, but now with Noahide, there is no more free speech. That's about to go bye-bye. No more free speech for you. You can't criticize or take issue or disagree with the LGBT rainbow mafia. You can't say anything about Islam, and you must not ever question the intent, the directions politically or spiritually of one blue and white nation on this whole planet that when you look at it on a globe, you almost can't even find it. It's so teeny tiny. I always have to find Africa, and then I can find Egypt, and then I can locate it to the north. It's really, really, I think it's the north. But anyhow, it's so teeny tiny, but it really, truly is interesting how this one little teeny weeny nation that's now made the Talmud the law, they've gone over in America, made the Talmud the law. They are just crafting their will and bringing forth their Antichrist Messiah, and he's coming. I mean, they're getting the whole thing ready. We're at the end of the latter days of walking up to the beginning of the end. I don't know if it'll be this Feast of Trumpets on the 30th. I hope so, man. I hope so. I've been praying to the Lord. I hope so. I want to go. But, if not, then that means they have 12 more months to plan, and we have 12 more months at least, then we'll go from there to the next Feast of Trumpets to see what's going on. But really, they're just waiting for the Lord. And while they're waiting for the Lord, look, they have this break down the cultural standards and 25 of morality, promoting that word, obscenity, in books, magazines, motion pictures, radio, and TV. Because they know that when you promote sin, you can achieve your goal of breaking in and crafting a new reality. Look here, 26, present Rainbow Mafia, degeneracy, promiscuity as normal, natural, healthy, and they do that through the magazines. Look at this, 27, infiltrate the churches and replace revealed religion with social religion. Hello, Hillsong, and most of the churches out there, not all. Discredit the Bible and emphasize the need for intellectual maturity, which does not need a religious crutch. Alice Cooper had a big giant crutch on stage with him after Greg Laurie interviewed him, and he had his head decapitated in the show, and then the roadie or whoever it was came over and kissed the decapitated head. And Greg Laurie, who is one of them, I'm convinced he's part of this social engineering nonsense, had just put him up as a Christian that was in, a very popular rock band or whatever you want to call it, metal or whatever. And, you can really see underneath what these people are actually doing. Look at this. 39, dominate the psychiatric profession and use mental health laws as a means of gaining coercive control over those who oppose communistic goals. They're not playing. Eliminate prayer, any phase of religious expression, 28, in the schools on the grounds that it violates the principles separation of church and state. Do you see what's going on?